Hey guys, Ray360 back at Disneyland with the fam. We just got back from Memorial Day weekend. It was absolutely mobbed. We had Fleet Week, grad night. The place was packed like I've never seen before. And it also marked the return of FANTASMIC. Now the show's been gone for about a year after the unfortunate accident with Murphy the Dragon set ablaze, ironic enough. The show is now back, new and improved. Although I'll let you be the judge whether it's been improved or not. There's a lot of debate about that. And that's not the only debate in town, it's also the dining packages. And we've tried 2 out of the 3 available options, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on what I think is the best bang for buck and give you some recommendations as you plan your trip. So without further ado, let's go have a FANTASMIC kind of day. All right, here at the River Belle to check out their FANTASMIC dining option. Now for $55, you may wonder, is it worth it? Let me cut to the chase. The dining packages here are worth it, to some extent. I would say Rancho Del Zocalo for $30. The $55 Belle option is also a great deal. The ones that are a little bit more pricier, again, it depends on what you determine a value proposition. If you like tableside service, then the River Belle Premium Package for $89 is probably gonna be a worthwhile endeavor. Blue Bayou is a little bit pricey, but with that you also get a prime seat, center viewing for the show. So what do you get for $55? It's a 3-course meal. Drinks included, starter, entree, and dessert. So let's take a look at what River Belle has to offer. All right, for a starter, I got a plant-based meatball with grits, served in a little tiny skillet. The presentations here at River Belle are always great. Don't be deterred by the plant-based. This actually tastes like real beef, but it's seasoned very well. It's got a smokiness. I love the mustard. No spice, but it's got the Cajun flavors. This is really, really good. The grits are creamy, the pickles give it a little tang, but the mustard relish is the star of the show here. If you're not a fan of mustard, I'd probably say pick different options, but if you are, it's incredibly satisfying, super flavorful. So far, I'm impressed. Take a look at this bad boy. For the entree, I got the Big Belle sandwich, and this is a Big Belle. This towering beast consists of their signature hot chicken on a bed of house-made slaw, and then their brisket mac and cheese, which is spectacular, is sitting on the top deck. 3 pieces of huge Texas toast, and then they've got their curly fries. Ooh, this entree alone is $26. That's half of the cost of the entire package. This sandwich alone. There is no way to elegantly down this thing, so I'm gonna deconstruct it a little bit, and let's break this up a little. One thing that Disney does right is mac and cheese. Troubadour Tavern has an incredible mac and cheese, and River Belle is second to none. You've got the barbecue brisket, burnt ends thrown in, gives it that smokiness and that savory. So good. And that's just the penthouse layer of the sandwich. Let's get into the hot chicken. This is their hot chicken on a bed of house-made slaw and pickles. Chicken is cooked spectacularly. It's not over-drenched with the hot sauce either, which I kind of like. The sauce does have a kick. You're looking at like 6 out of 10, maybe 7. It lingers kind of in the back. So if you're spice intolerant, this may not be the best option for you, but it's incredibly flavorful. The fact that it's served as a sandwich doesn't mean you're gonna eat it like a sandwich. This is definitely fork and knife material. And finally for dessert, this is the cherry oat cobbler. Served warm, it's cherry compote with toasted oats and a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Let's give it a go. It's good, it's Southern comfort. The warm cherry compote, which is a little thick and perhaps a bit too sweet. The toasted oats are good, it kind of balances it out. And the ice cream at the end cuts through with that contrast, the hot and cold. This thing's gonna put you to sleep. So I realize it's a bit of a controversial subject. A lot of people are frustrated at the fact that you have to kind of pay to play here at Disney for these premium options. But think about it, from just the time savings alone, you're saving multiple hours of camping out, waiting, and if you have children, you know how frustrating that is. So to be able to have a voucher to return for primetime viewing locations in a reserved section that's designated to dining package guests, then that's well worth it. Now, if you break down the cost of the dining package itself, that too is an extraordinary value. Just take a look at these prices here. If you were to order all these items a la carte, you're paying more than the dining packages itself. So essentially, you're getting a meal for below cost, and then the show is essentially free. I almost don't even want to say this because Disney is actually losing money on this. And if anything, it's promoting more of their restaurant business, but they are offering the show VIP seating for free. So that's the Disney math behind it. So anybody who's frustrated by the fact that there are these price add-ons to the high cost of the general admission ticket alone, which I get it, but you're gonna have to eat in the park anyway. And why not eat at River Belle, which is phenomenal. And I'm almost gonna fall into a food coma with how much food was offered. But it's a phenomenal deal just for the value of the food alone, which is exquisite. And then again, you get the show for free. Now there are other dining packages, obviously. Blue Bayou, there's a premium package also for River Belle, which gives you tableside viewing, but with a much heftier price tag of close to $90. There's a more economical version with Rancho Del Zocalo, and we'll explore that in a future video. But for now, the River Belle standard package at $55 is a tremendous value. Again, you're getting $60 worth of food alone, and the show is free. And you're getting VIP seating, and really the time savings is in the VIP seating. You only line up about an hour or so before showtime versus what other folks were doing for opening weekend, 3 to 4 hours before showtime. And if you're not at a waterfront viewing spot, then it's gonna be a miserable time. You're not gonna be able to see anything over crowds of people, and especially if you have kids, strollers, etc., then it's a total bust. So if you're not at Waterside, front row, with children, it's not gonna be a spectacular experience. So having primetime viewing front and center of the show, an hour before the show, so that you're not camping out for multiple hours and blowing your whole day, that alone is worth it. So as we get closer to showtime, I will check in and show you exactly what it's all about. All right, guys, here at the Rancho Del Zocalo for the FANTASMIC dining package. For $35 pre-discount, you get a choice of 4 entrees. I went with the carne asada, which is a marinated short rib. You get rice and beans, potato salad, and this cute little cake, a cortadillo, which I assume is just white sponge cake with either cherry or raspberry center, and sprinkles. Let's dig into the steak. It isn't bad, the flavors are on point, but the cut is a little chewy. So it's not the most tender steak in the world. The marinade is satisfying, a little sweet, no spice at all. You get the savoriness, the smokiness of the cut of the meat. Really no complaints. Let's try the rice and beans. The rice is relatively bland. It's green, so you'd assume it's seasoned probably with cilantro or something else. I'm not really getting any seasoning with this rice though. So it's rather basic. The beans blended to perfection. The beans are pretty good, actually. Smoky, whipped to a consistency of like mashed potatoes, which is phenomenal. I wouldn't say knock your socks off. It's rather average, but still pretty satisfying. Now for the potato salad. Diced potatoes, carrots, cucumbers. The flavoring is mid. Much better. For dessert, they throw in the cortadillo, which is a Mexican staple. It's a white sponge cake, traditionally served with pink frosting. This is white frosting with sprinkles. Let me start off with, I'm not a big cake person at all. So let me give you my uninformed opinion about it. It's good. It's soft, airy, pillowy. I believe that fruit center is raspberry, so nice little contrast. The sprinkles give it a nice little texture. Very light, very delightful. No complaints. All right, let's talk value. Unlike River Belle Terrace, where each item on the FANTASMIC dining package was also available a la carte on their menu, you could directly see what the value is based on the a la carte price. Here at Rancho though, the FANTASMIC dining package includes items that are not found on their a la carte menu. Therefore, it's very difficult to put a value on the food items. But if I was to hazard a guess, I would say the entrees are probably in the $15 range, the dessert maybe in the $7 to $8 range, plus the drink. So more or less, that's under the $30 mark just for the food alone. And if you look at it like that, then the premium seating for FANTASMIC is about a $5 upcharge. As opposed to River Belle Terrace, which again was about $60 worth of food for a price tag of $55 for the package, pre-discount. But if you're purely going on the most economical solution, then it's a no-brainer. Rancho it is. You can't go wrong. The food is incredible, and really that's what you're paying for. And the only other benefit to River Belle is a better location when it comes to Rivers of America. You actually have two different sections for River Belle Terrace, whereas Rancho is a little bit more to the side, closer to Harbor Galley. So you're gonna get more of a side view, whereas River Belle, where you get a spectacular, almost dead-on center view. And if you really want to splurge, Blue Bayou it is at $89. It is the priciest option. Of course, you get a premium dining experience with 4 courses. But is it exactly worth $90? I don't think so. And this is what it's all about, folks. Do not lose this. This is your ticket, literally, to get into the roped off section by Rivers of America. In this case, I got the later showing, 10:30, and they ask you to line up around 10 o'clock by Harbor Galley, which would always be my recommendation since you're able to still catch the fireworks by the castle, which is a lot better than catching the fireworks by the river. And then right after the fireworks are over at about 9:45, head on over to Harbor Galley and line up for the show. And one last thing to consider. If you plan on making your trip out to Disneyland and you haven't already made reservations for any of the dining packages, you may be out of luck. So my recommendation is book early, especially now that the word is out and people are lining up for the dining packages. Spots are limited, so you may not necessarily even have the option of booking a specific restaurant or a specific option. So check the Disneyland app, punch in FANTASMIC dining package in the search option, pull up the date and the number of people in your party, and roll the dice, see what's available. But don't be surprised if it's either sold out or you may be left with more of the expensive options. Again, River Belle standard package for $55 and the Rancho Del Zocalo package for $35, absolutely worth it. This area here is standby viewing, which is to the right of the first tree that you're gonna see in front of River Belle Terrace. Not a bad area, actually. So if you could score waterside viewing here, you do pretty well for yourself. Now the only downside though is people are queuing here 2 to 3 hours before showtime, which kills your day. But look at this. A lot of squatters. And if you're not sitting directly in the front, you're gonna have an obstructed view because they're gonna ask everybody to stand up. And if you have kids, especially kids in strollers, then it's gonna be a problem. They're not gonna be able to see anything. And that's usually the problem with general standby viewing. If you don't have front side, it's gonna be an obstructed show. So this area here is still general standby. Again, it's to the right of this it's to the right of this tree here in front of River Belle Terrace. So you can see there, again, people queuing a couple hours before showtime. This area will eventually be roped off, and the middle sections in front of Pirates through Tiana's Palace is going to be reserved for the dining packages. As you can see, as we cut through Strollerland here, this is dead center in front of the FANTASMIC center stage. This is Blue Bayou area, so all these strollers will be vacated, and this area that's right in front of Pirates of the Caribbean is going to get you prime viewing locations right in front of FANTASMIC Island here, Tom Sawyer Island. A little bit more to the left, and over here, this area is dedicated for the River Belle Terrace. Look at this. Ducks are already lining up a couple hours in advance. So this section over here is reserved for the River Belle Terrace, and this is directly in front of New Orleans Square. And then as we venture over a little bit more to the left of center, This area in front of Tiana's Palace, as you can see, it's starting to be roped off. This is for the Rancho Del Zocalo dining package patrons. You still get a great view here. And as we can see, they're starting to rope off the sections, and this is where the entry queue, when you redeem your vouchers, you're gonna show up here about an hour before showtime. They're gonna ask people to lounge around in front of Harbor Galley. It's a good time to pick up your cookies for the show. And then you make your way through these roped off sections to your respective dining package area. So as far as value proposition, Rancho Del Zocalo wins. 35 bucks. You get a meal and then primetime viewing locations for the show. River Belle Terrace, still a tremendous value. A more sophisticated, refined meal at $55. And as I explained, the cost of the meal itself exceeds the price of the package. So you're basically getting VIP seating for free. And then if you're gonna splurge on something a little bit more upscale, you've got the $89 package for Blue Bayou, which personally I don't think is a tremendous value, because for 90 bucks, I'm not gonna be sitting on the floor. But for $90 with the River Belle Premium package, you do get tableside viewing. So that has itself going for it. Here, this is what $89 gets you. Tableside viewing, perched above the crowd, directly looking at Tom Sawyer Island for an unobstructed view of the FANTASMIC Show from the comfort of your own seat and table. These roped off areas are for the VIP tours. Of course, you get seats for the VIP tour, unlike the rest of us who have to sit on the floor. And then you've got this area here. As you can see, folks are camping out over here in front of Tiana's Palace. A little bit of an elevation, which is helpful for the little ones to see. Again, if you don't have front row, it's going to be very difficult, because they're going to ask everybody who's sitting here to stay up. And once folks are standing, you're not going to see much of a show. As we make our way over to New Orleans Square, check out the rest of the folks here. Again, folks are seated now, but come showtime, they're gonna ask them to stand up. This here is 2 hours before showtime. And as you can see, folks are still queuing up 2 hours before. The Pirates Bridgeway is still cleared, but as you can see here, you got pockets of loiterers and lurkers just waiting for those ropes to drop. But about an hour before showtime, they're gonna drop those ropes, and you're gonna see a mad dash of people running to the front of that gate for that coveted elevated perch high above rivers of America. This is the Pirates Bridgeway. As you can see, they've kept it relatively clear of most loiterers. On Friday, opening night, this was a madhouse. They had people queuing here 3 to 4 hours before showtime. It looks like they've cleared that up. And I'm not exactly sure when the ropes are ready to be dropped, but once they do, you're gonna see the floodgates open and folks are gonna start lining up. This is a coveted spot here because you do get a really good vantage point high above the elevation here, above the crowds. But again, if you're not directly on the rail, you will not see much of the show because everybody's gonna be asked to stand up. All right, here we go. Take a look at this. Black Friday in May. Pandemonium. There we go. Rope drop for the FANTASMIC Pirates Bridgeway viewing area. Take a look at this. Minimal injuries. I don't see anybody getting trampled yet. Yeah. Enjoy the show, brother. Take a look at this. Approximately 1 hour before showtime, you've got all these folks lining up. Take a look at this.
Come on down, folks. We got more room down this way.
Everybody pretty much perches in the mid-center, but then you've got the rest of the Bridgeway here wide open. So as you can see, the Bridgeway has been completely overtaken in minutes of opening, and it's approximately 1 hour before showtime. So if you're looking for a coveted prime viewing location on the Pirates Bridgeway, you need to line up about an hour before showtime at the base of the treehouse. Take a look at this. And that's what patience will get you with the Pirates Bridge walkway. You've got these folks with prime viewing location, high above the crowds, basically dead center in front of Tom Sawyer Island. So that right there is general standby viewing. This here is reserved for River Belle. Really good view, unobstructed. To the left of that, dead center in front of Tom Sawyer Island, is the Blue Bayou dining package viewing area. And then just to the left of that, Rancho Del Zocalo comes in with a very economical $35 viewing package. And that's the other major advantage of the dining package. Once folks are standing, you're not going to get a good view unless you're right at Waterside. And while I understand the argument that you're paying a premium to sit down on the floor, the advantage of doing so is that you could still get a view over the people in front of you. You're not going to be able to do that if you're in the standby area. This is Blue Bayou. Dead center. Not a bad deal, but for 90 bucks, pretty pricey. Just a little to the right of center, for half the price, we've got River Belle. And River Belle is much more open. And again, not much of a difference, I think, between Blue Bayou and River Belle. You've got this beautiful area here, wide open. As you can see, not a ton of packages sold here for River Belle. You've got all this space. And then a little further down over there is general viewing for standby. And just like that, easy peasy. No queuing for hours on end like you would with general standby. Unfortunately, those folks were waiting 2 to 3 hours. But with the dining package, you essentially just have to line up about 30 minutes before showtime. So you can still enjoy most of your day, the rides, attractions, hang out with your family and friends, and you don't have to worry about camping out. Make sure you grab your mobile water before. This is key. But if you do have to exit for whatever reason, you have to pick up food, go to the restroom, then you just ask one of the cast members. They'll escort you out. They'll give you one of the vouchers so you can come back in, and you don't have to wait in queues anymore. And if you'd really like to plan in advance, bring a pad, a blanket, or something to sit on. Maybe sit on an old sweater or sweatshirt. It is a little uncomfortable sitting on these cobblestone steps.
Extreme! I'm gonna make you want to laugh! Feed it to powder and shorten the fuse! Shorten the powder and your fuse! Get up, you! Get you for this planet! If it's the last thing I do!
Say your prayers, Smoke.
Let him have it!
No. Mr. Crocodile, do you like codfish? You do?
Save me! Save me!
As the sun I think you need and so this song is old as beauty and love to spend all the sea they understand that they know to run from McDonald's like the friend sick of swimming, ready to stay.
Dare you look deeper?
Sure.
Then, behold.
I'll turn that little mouse's dream into a nightmare fantastic. Imagine this.
You may think you're so powerful. Well, this is my dream.
So if you found this guide helpful, smash that like button, hit the subscribe, it'll really help out the channel, and I'll see you on the next update. Cheers.